In today's episode, we're gonna head back into Reddit and we're gonna be looking at some maybe spooky stuff, but also some not so spooky stuff. Maybe some ghost stories or maybe some questions people have asked. Um, like when you look at spooky, what do you think of spooky? You think of noises, of ghosts, or you know, the paranormal, UFOs. It's all a bit strange. It's all that sort of strange stuff that people think about. When you see things that might be paranormal, what you see shadows, shapes, mists, orbs, all that sort of stuff. You know, it's all a bit spooky. It's all a bit strange. And then we're also going to be looking at some just general questions. Maybe some askreddit type stuff. Um, Anyways, let's move into our first case. So our first case comes from the r/ghosts subreddit. It was posted by user Oh God Oh No. So they start out a picture I took back in 2020 inside my local church, April 17th. Took it randomly because I figured it would be creepy since it was nearly midnight. Pretty sure we were there for some final preparations for the following day. So you can see, so he shows us a couple of pictures on the left side of the iconostasis. Not gonna pronounce that. Not gonna go out of my way. That's definitely something, but it does look. So here's the picture. It says you can see this is the picture of the full room. When you generally look at when you look right here, this is I think what they're talking about. It definitely looks odd, maybe spooky. This is the next picture. Zoomed in, as you can see, it's much darker. You can make maybe like a mist out. This is the photo lightened up a touch up a bit. Like there's definitely some sort of mist, some sort of shadow there. But what is it? Who's to say? Is it spooky? Maybe, maybe not. Is it creepy a little bit? Even the OP said he was in a church. Some of the comments to this post said, it looks, that one, looks, here we go, looks like it might be from the flash reflection on something, reflecting. So it's clear that that is an oblong blur. So most people, I think, can are saying it's definitely a reflection. And that's very possible. What are your thoughts down in the comments? So this next case also comes from the r/ghost subreddit. It was posted by bootypop_69. Title is Ghosts or Pareidolia. Curious to hear thoughts. So this took place in Colonial Williamsburg. There's this one allegedly super haunted house there, the Randolph House. And I took some pictures of a window just to see if I got lucky. It was empty at the time. Usually tours go through, but it was a quiet day for some reason. At the time, I remember there being a lot of stuff on the glass. So bear that in mind. But the face looks so weirdly defined. I want to get everyone's thoughts on it. I added a picture of of the former owner of the house, who is said to haunt it. So we take a look at the pictures. That's the image. That's the original picture. No, I should say the picture. Then that's she's pointing. She's got us pointing. I guess right here maybe. Still not seeing anything. I guess this is what the OP is trying to point out. Like if you look right there where they're pointing, I mean, look, I don't know if there's something. The original OP is maybe eye, mouth, nose, chin, maybe. Look, is it paranormal? Maybe, maybe not. Spooky, maybe? Or is it pareidolia? Let me know what you think in the comment section. So this next post comes from the Ask Reddit subreddit. And the question the OP posed was, "What is the weirdest encounter you have had while driving?" So one person writes, "A drugged up bicyclist in, I'm guessing San Francisco, pulls up next to me and bangs on the window, calling my mother in law a fat C word. Small Asian woman in the car next to us tells him to stop. He calls her a slur and tells her to fuck off. She pulls out an FBI badge and steps out of the car. Epic." Someone else goes, when I was a teenager, my sister was driving me to a friend's house in the early evening. We were on a gravel road in the middle of nowhere and passing a farmhouse. There was a shirtless older man with long, stringy white hair standing in the ditch of the road, burning a fully decorated Christmas tree. This was in the summer. He waved and grinned at us as we passed. The look on his face was almost gleeful. We were both unsettled, and my sister later told me that she took the long way home so she did not have to pass that house again. That's pretty creepy. That's definitely creepy. Probably not the weirdest. I was driving back home and was on a residential street. Suddenly, the car in front of me stopped for no reason. Immediately afterwards, they turned on the emergency lights, and I thought maybe something bad had happened, like a pop tire. I was debating stepping out to ask if they needed help or just leaving when suddenly they started backing up right into me. I immediately started reversing, and they just continued reversing until they reached a spot on the sidewalk and parallel parked. I don't know if that's creepy or just bizarre. Like, how would you act in that instance? Like, obviously, it was potentially an insurance job because you wouldn't just suddenly slam your reverser, your car in reverse unless you're trying to do an insurance job. Even the OP was a teen. Anyway, move on. Not too long ago, my husband and I dropped off a friend and got followed out of her neighborhood by the most stereotypical white creeper van possible. My husband pegged it as a Chevy Express and it had a ladder thingy on top. Followed us around 10 miles past our home, thankfully, and eventually right into a restaurant parking lot. We pulled in and sat in the middle of the lot, not parked, watched as they faked parking, and then we sped out of there as quickly as possible. They tore out of their spot and behind us again as soon as they saw us exit the lot. At that point, I think they figured we made them, so they peeled off by a gas station, and we spent the next 30 minutes driving through downtown back roads before meeting up with a couple cops at the nearest station to give them our details of the situation and have them check us for any kind of tracking devices. They didn't check us for tracking. By the way, my husband spent the night going over our car with a flashlight with his gun tucked in his belt after checking every lock in the apartment. That's pretty creepy stuff. I mean, that's definitely stalkerish, if not, abduction or potential robbery type stuff. Pretty scary. There's still never been an explanation for this one, and it still weirds me out. My buddy and I had to drive ourselves to a baseball game an hour and 15 minutes away to a baseball game because there was no bus during COVID. His parents also went to the game. When the game was over, his parents left about 30 minutes before we did. This is confirmed because they even called him right before we left, telling him they were on the highway. Anyways, the road back is a single lane side highway in rural Canada, and it's like literally nothing the entire way. About one third of the way back is a coulee that you have to go down across the bridge and then back up. Coulee. It's impossible to miss because it's a sketchy part and you have to turn off cruise control to go through it. We checked the clock before we left because we had to meet his parents for dinner back home. And about 30 minutes into the drive, we were like, why haven't we at the coulee yet? 5 minutes later, we were at the train tracks that marked the entrance to our hometown. One important note is that we did not pass a single person on the way back. We called his parents to see where they were, thinking we just lost track of time or something, even though we were confident we didn't. They said they were still on the highway and were about 30 to 40 minutes away. We told his parents we were at his house already, and they didn't believe us until he shared his location. The only reasoning we could possibly think of is that we teleported or something. His parents were even spooked by it because no one passed them. To this day, we have no idea what happened, despite having four witnesses. That's pretty spooky. I mean, look, teleportation, yeah, definitely something creepy happened, especially if they have witnesses to it and, time checks and phone calls and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's definitely sketched. And we'll go one last one. So the road stretched out before me, an endless ribbon of asphalt twisting and turning through a landscape that shifted imperceptibly with every passing mile. The hum of the engine was a steady companion, a low droning soundtrack to a journey that seemed to have no beginning and no end. I adjusted my grip on the steering wheel, my fingers tracing the smooth leather as if it held some hidden answer to a question I hadn't asked. The air smelled fairly of rain. Through the clouds above me were scattered and thin, and the windshield wipers moved in a lazy, almost meditative rhythm, even though the glass was dry. The radio played soft in the background, a mix of static and old songs I barely recognized, the kind of music that felt familiar without even that ever being memorable. I thought about changing the station, but left it as it was. The disjointed melodies blending seamlessly with The monotony of the drive. Outside the window, the scenery shifted from rolling hills to open plains, punctured occasionally by the odd tree or weathered barn, each one standing as a silent witness to a journey I couldn't fully explain. Every so often, I would pass another car, a fleeting encounter that left me wondering about the lives of the people inside. Who were they? Where were they going? Did their destination matter to them? Matter more to them than mine did to me? The questions lingered for a moment before fading into the background, placed by the steady rhythm of the tires on the road. I glanced at the dashboard clock. Though the time seemed irrelevant, had it been hours, minutes, days, the passage of time felt abstract, disconnected from the physical reality of the drive. The gas gauge hovered just above half, a small reassurance that I could keep going, though I had no idea how far I intended to travel. At one point, I spotted a sign for a diner. Its faded lettering promising the best coffee for miles. That's always good. Everyone loves a good coffee. I thought about stopping but didn't. The idea of pausing felt strange, as if breaking the flow of the journey would shatter something fragile and undefined. Instead, I kept driving, the diner fading into the rearview mirror as quickly as it had appeared. The sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the horizon with a hue of orange and pink that bled together like watercolors on damp paper. It was beautiful in a way that felt almost surreal, as if the landscape itself was conspiring to make me notice it. But even as I admired the view, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was all somehow inconsequential, a fleeting moment in a journey that seemed to defy meaning or purpose. The road continued as roads tend to do, stretching endlessly into the distance. I drove on. The sound of the tires blending with the hum of the engine, the static-laden music, and the soft whisper of the wind through the open window. And as the day gave way to night, the headlights carving twin beams of light into the darkness. I realized I didn't know if I was any closer to wherever it was I thought I was going, but it didn't seem to matter. I just kept driving. That in itself is a really cool story. Very calm, peaceful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this video, give it a like. If you like the channel, give it a subscribe and hit that notification bell to keep updated about any future videos. So this next post comes from the r/Bigfoot subreddit, and it was posted by the OP slight_outside 5684, captioned, WTF is this? I'd be noping the F out of here real quick. And they've actually given us a video to watch, which we will do now.
What the fuck was that? I heard some shit there.
So you've just heard that. Look, I will replay that one more time, as that's pretty intense, that sound. So yeah, so look, you've definitely heard that sound. So now we've heard that sound. I don't know what it is. Is it animal? Probably, maybe. Who knows what it is? It's someone or something with definitely a deep set of lungs on them, as one of the common, lung capacity is enormous. Someone says that's exactly what I heard on my parents' farm in northern Utah. You know, that someone says definitely not a bear. Mountain lions sound like a witch in distress. Definitely not a fox. Lots of vocal range. Starts with a high pitch and just gets more deep. You know, all kidding aside, is that any type of known animal that's insanely loud? Only thing I can think of would be that loud is a bear or moose. But that ain't no bear or moose. It sounds nothing like a bear or moose, but I wouldn't let it big cat. Mountain lions, lynx, and bobcats can make some terrifying sounds when you don't know what it is. No way it's a bear. Absolutely, moose aren't that loud. I've seen them often here in Canada. My guess is a lynx. The variety of sounds and volume they can produce is pretty amazing. So there's a potential rational explanation that sounds. What do you think it is? Is it paranormal or is there something more rational to that? Let me know down in the comment section. So this last one comes from the r/ParanormalEncounters subreddit. It was posted by Majestic Channel 9232. Up Ghost. Keep an eye on the dominoes on the right side of the bar.
That is
As you can see, something definitely occurred there. Let's go back again and have another look.
that is
Yeah, it's pretty
that
spooky.
is
Pretty spooky. Pretty spooky indeed. What do you make of that? As you can see, that something from right there definitely did come flying. Um, Someone goes, it seems like a poltergeist. May I know the history of the bar? Is there any incident been here before? Then the OP says, it was my mom's old pub videos from years ago. We have lots more footage. Glasses would shatter on their own. We caught footage of two faces talking to each other, but we can't find the footage anymore. After all these years, to this day, no staff enter the pub on their own. Although ever since a very special staff member passed away, the poltergeist activity slowed down drastically, whatever that means. It's hard to be sure given the fuzzy image, but it looks like the domino was sticking out of the box and fell out when the woman started putting things on the other end of the bar. It fell on the bar, then bounced off the stool. Nothing about it suggests the need of any kind of paranormal influence. Someone says this ghost's a jerk. Instead of moving on, it hangs out in a pub, flicking off dominoes when the staff is trying to work. What an ass. Definitely funny. It falls likely from vibrating the bar when the woman put the bag on the bar top. Timing is on point with natural occurrence. My mom, the person in the video, tried doing it multiple times again with the domino half out like in the video. All it does is it would fall on the table if she smacked her bag down really hard, which in the video she clearly doesn't. So look, is there's a definite possible explanation, also definite spooky, maybe paranormal explanation. Look, you know what? I guess it's all up to interpretation. It depends, as people suggested, the vibrating of the bar when she put her bag down. The OP says no, that's not possible. But either way, it's pretty spooky, pretty coincidental stuff. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.